our buses were lined up next to each other, right? And Larry goes, "Hey man, don't ever put that guy on me." Right?
And he says, "Man, that's an insult. What you guys just did to me." Like, what you mean? That's an insult. He says, "You guys put a white boy on me."
Bird as the biggest shit talker back in the 80s.
Right.
But we had Worthy on our show. We had AC on the show. And we had Coop on the show.
Uh-huh.
They said it's the Three Musketeers. It was the Three Musketeers that started all of that back in the 80s.
So let me tell you what has happened.
Larry Bird's trash talk wasn't just talk, it was a psychological takedown wrapped in a Midwest accent. It felt premeditated, like a cold-blooded hit job carried out in plain English. He'd stroll past your bench, glance at your jersey, and drop a line so personal, so precise, you'd start rethinking your career before the game even tipped off. This wasn't harmless chirping. Bird went for the jugular and the soul of your stat sheet. He mocked your coach's decisions, gave you nicknames you hated, and pointed at the rookie your GM just drafted promising to make his debut unforgettable for all the wrong reasons. And he delivered it all in that calm Indiana drawl, which somehow cut sharper than a packed arena's roar. He'd greet young players by guessing the size of the towel they'd need. After he was done running them into the ground, he'd remind all-stars of how many highlight reels he'd already ruined, and dare them to double the count by the time social media caught on. Bird's trash talk had already become legend. These weren't stories, they were folklore, passed down in locker rooms like sacred warnings. Don't poke the bird unless you're ready for war. Some stories get buried in the box score. Not this one. Today, we're not counting points, we're counting punchlines. From limeried threats to bench-wide roast sessions. These 12 tales proved that Larry Bird's tongue drew more blood than his elbows ever did. So mute the playbook, settle in, and let the hick from French Lick run his mouth one more time. Through the stunned voices of players who never figured out how to shut him up, see most trash talk happens during the game. Some spills into practice, but Larry Bird, he came for your soul before the warm-up even started. It was 1992. Chris Webber, just a college kid, back then had earned a spot on the select team, a crew of rising stars tapped to scrimmage the real gods, the original Dream Team, Magic, Jordan, Berkeley, Robinson, Ewing, legends. And before Webber could even lace up, Bird hit him with a line so cold it could have iced the court, and of course, Larry Bird. These weren't just NBA All-Stars, they were global icons, walking nightmares in size 16s. For Chris Webber, the mission was simple: survive. But survival got complicated before the ball ever bounced, before a single screen was set. Before the lights came on or the anthem played, Webber found himself in a limo-face, two-face with one of the most ruthless competitors the league had ever produced. Larry Bird didn't need a court to start the mind games. The ride alone was enough. He leaned over, stone-faced, and told Webber flat out, "You know you're not going to get a single bucket today, right? No grin, no laugh, just a death." Sentence delivered in that deadpan Indiana drawl. And just like that, before the jerseys were even unpacked, Bird was already in Webber's head rent-free.
I get in the car and it's Larry Bird, and I shake his hand. I'm quiet, trying to feel that balance in the car and everything. And it's the old school limo sitting in the back. And when we get out, he doesn't say much, but when we get out, he goes, "Hope you get your sleep tonight, because I'm gonna bust your ass tomorrow."
That was it. No warm-up talk. No how's college treating you? No ready for the big leagues? Just a verbal sneak attack delivered with the calm menace of a horror movie one-liner. Larry Bird didn't care that Webber was still just a kid, didn't care that it was just a scrimmage, didn't care that his own back was shot and he moved like a man carrying bricks. None of that mattered, because if Larry Bird laced up, there was only one outcome. You were getting cooked, and he was going to tell you all about it before he even untied his warm-ups. And let's be clear, this wasn't some half-speed gym run. These Dream Team scrimmages were legendary, intense, ruthless, a battlefield where every pass, every bucket, every steal was personal. The guys weren't just playing, they were proving they belonged, proving they were the best. Bird didn't need to prove anything anymore, but that never stopped him from doing it. Anyway, especially if it meant humbling the next big thing before breakfast. Now imagine being Chris Webber, one of the best college players in the country, a future no one pick, sitting in that limo, hearing that line, and realizing Larry Bird wasn't done yet, stepping out of a limo thinking you're about to gain some experience, and instead getting handed a prophecy. Bird wasn't just talking smack, he was predicting your funeral and offering the pillow for your pregame nap. most trash talk, it stays player to player. You jaw at your defender, maybe bark at a teammate to switch. But Larry Bird, he shattered the fourth wall. He didn't just come for you, he came for your coach. Flashback to the mid-'80s. V's, Knicks, Madison Square Garden, the Mecca, the lights, blinding the crowd, unhinged. Larry, already frying defenders like bacon on a skillet. Then, during a break in play, he walks over to inbound the ball, and that's when he sees him some poor soul checking in off the Knicks bench. Bird freezes, looks across the court, then turns, not to the player, but to the man in the suit. You're really putting him on me. That wasn't trash talk. That was insult with intent. No play had even started, and Bird had already let the entire arena know this guy didn't belong on the same floor.
My favorite trash talking by Larry, and Kevin was a pretty good trash talker too, but Larry was when they trash talk coaches, like when they trash talk Hubie Brown, and they're sitting there playing in Madison Square Garden, and he's just going like taking the ball out of bounds in front of their bench, so the whole bench can hear him,
Right.
And go like, Hubie, this all you got for me tonight? Like you got no one else that can guard me? This is getting ridiculous, and then Hubie would put in like Johnny Newman would be running in the game. He goes, wait, are you serious? That's the guy you're putting on me?
Danny Ainge tells the story like it still cracks him up. You can see it, Bird standing there, ball in hand, not even trying to whisper, just loud enough for the entire Knicks bench to hear, loud enough for the guy checking in to hear, loud enough for Coach Hubie Brown to flinch and second-guess his own substitution. Because here's the killer part. Bird wasn't reacting to who was guarding him. He was already disappointed. The poor guy hadn't even entered the game yet, and Larry was calling him unqualified. Imagine warming up to check in only to hear the guy you're about to guard laugh in your face before the whistle even blows. That's not trash talk, that's psychological warfare, and everyone in the building knew exactly what was coming next. Larry Bird didn't just score points, he delivered statements. Every shot wasn't just a bucket. It was a direct message to your entire bench, especially your coach. It didn't matter if you were on the court or holding a clipboard. If Bird felt disrespected, you were going to feel it. This wasn't your typical trash talk either. Nope. This was Larry running a solo press conference live on the hardwood. And yes, legendary coach Hubie Brown. He heard it all. Larry didn't care if you were a seasoned vet, a rookie getting your first minutes, or a coach making substitutions. If he thought you took the matchup lightly, you were in trouble, and he made sure you knew it. Just ask Isaiah Thomas. It was Celtics versus Pistons. At the old Silverdome, early in the game, Detroit threw a new defender on Bird. Maybe it was strategy, maybe it was just next man up. But to Larry, that was personal.
We walk out on the court, and Benson is guarding Larry, right? And Larry looks at me and he was calling me cheesy. He goes, cheesy, like you putting him on me. you putting him on me? I was like, that's all I got, man. That's all I got right now. And he goes, I'm taking right down to the baseline. I'm shooting right over him. So after the game, our buses were lined up next to each other, right? And Larry goes, hey man, don't ever put that guy on me.
This wasn't just trash talk. This was calculated destruction. Larry Bird didn't just smirk at the defender across from him. He announced the plan in advance. No mystery, no misdirection. He told Isaiah Thomas exactly what was coming. Then, he followed the blueprint, drove to the spot, pulled up from the baseline, and drained it like it was practice. And just to make sure, the point hit harder than the shot. To Bird, every defensive assignment was a message. And if you put the wrong guy on him, you were basically saying, we don't take you seriously. He made sure you paid for that mistake, loudly, efficiently, and without mercy. Just ask Isaiah. He got the message whether he wanted to or not. He didn't just torch you on the court, he made sure you remembered it afterward. That was Larry Bird. He wasn't just talking smack, he was narrating your downfall in real time, while picking apart some of the league's toughest defenses. Mid-1980s, Celtics versus Lakers. The finals are charged with tension, and guarding Bird, none other than Michael Cooper Defensive Player of the Year, LAS Elite Stopper. But even before the opening tip, Bird set the tone. Not with a bucket, but with a warning. Because guarding Larry wasn't just a defensive challenge, it was psychological warfare. He'd tell you exactly what was coming, hit the shot anyway, and then let you know why you should never ever try that again.
Right before they go out on the court, Larry comes down, he says, you know what? Don't worry, I'm gonna put a show on for you. And he went out, I think he scored 38 points, about 20 rebounds, about 15 assists. And every shot he would shoot, he would turn to me. And I said, boy.
That's not a stat line, that's a massacre. And the worst part, it came with live commentary. Larry Bird didn't just dominate, he performed. Every move was choreographed with cold precision. Each shot landed with a glance, each bucket delivered with a quiet, knowing look that said, I told you this was coming. No yelling, no chest pounding, just Bird, controlling the court and making sure Magic Johnson watched every second. Because this wasn't just a good game, it was a lesson. And Magic, he didn't argue, he didn't deny. He just sat there, speechless, head shaking, trying to process what just happened. That's when you know this wasn't just trash talk. This was legend in real time. Bird didn't just outplay Magic. He made him front row witness to his own unraveling. And if you think that's cold, wait until you hear what he did to Shawn Kemp, the Rain Man himself. One of the most explosive forces in the game, and even he couldn't escape the storm that was Larry Bird. Shawn Kemp was a walking highlight power dunks, chase down blocks, sky-high energy, but even the Rain Man couldn't stay in the air forever, and when Larry Bird decided to bring him down, he didn't jump. He used footwork, timing, and pure basketball IQ, flat-footed and unfazed, saw it all coming, because Bird didn't beat you with flash, he beat you with foresight.